A lot could be said about Helldivers 2, like how the atmospheric lighting frames fear and glory with equal clarity, or how the combat can feel so visceral, so sudden, in a way that has never been captured in interactive media before, or how when the Helldiver goes prone, you can see little skulls on the soles of their boots. But this video isn't about any of that. This is a video about them, the others, and how as humans, we have a primal urge to destroy them. Which as a component of being human is pretty redundant and extremely unhelpful, both personally and collectively. But damn, is it fun to explore through our collective safe space, media. A game of two tones, horror and glory, needs a video of two tones. So, in the name of balance and mental health, we're going to flip-flop between serious and glorious. So, we need a talking point, something not too close to the bone and far enough away in time to avoid cries of, "Too soon!" but close enough to home that I won't be stepping on cultural toes. So that would be World War II. But what has World War II got to do with Helldivers 2?
Say hello to democracy!
Propaganda. The Ministry of Information, not to be confused with the Ministry of Truth, was a UK government organisation created on the very day we declared war on Germany. The Americans were a little late to the party with the Office of War Information, not around until 1942. But both had the same job, creating propaganda aimed at their own citizens. A direct attempt to mould thoughts and feelings to run alongside the government's decision to wage war. So we could get comfortable with the war, maybe even a little excited. These departments wanted us focused on the efficiency required to defeat the other. Othering is something that I'm sure I'll come back to, but all propaganda contains elements of it, and its initial stage, categorization, was made so much easier with the advent of visual media. Which World War II industrialised on a massive scale not seen before. Radio shows created by the Office of War Information quite often obfuscated the truth and presented a war narrative in stark moral terms, because there's a part of us that likes to latch onto that simplicity. That's a lot to take in for your average Helldiver. That ADHD-riddled brain ain't helping either. I know, I am one. A Helldiver, that is, not a brain. On today's Freedom News, a new report from the country sector suggests that some brands of car may be more democratic than others. Also, meet our Helldiver of the week on Vog Sojoth, as he proves that serving democracy is glorious and fun.
It's okay, I got it. Get away. Watch this shit. I'm gonna fucking rail cannon and get away. It doesn't know what to do. Hell yeah. Where did I die?
Meanwhile, from Gacrux, hoax footage suggests bugs can combo their attacks.
Federal studies are being conducted in your community. Would you like to know more?
Glorious propaganda. So, of course, Helldivers 2 has propaganda. But unlike World War II, it comes not from centralised authority, but instead from its players. Stamp out the bot. This is one of my favourite pieces. 4 simple words, 1 simple instruction. Ask yourself, who do you want to be in this exchange? Certainly not the clanker. Look how snivelling and inglorious he is, with filthy tears of oil running down his facsimile of a face. Someone really understood the mission when they put this together. Spill oil. Another excellent example that comes in a series. The contrast and framing make this leap out at you. Again, the instruction is a simple spill oil, which anyone can understand. But in a genius bit of psychological programming we get, mercy is treason. Phrased as an absolute, this edict automatically state approves any animal actions conducted by your base self. All these are fan-made. The equivalent would be the public creating anti-Japanese and German propaganda during World War II. Come to think of it, if they had access to the same level of media creation and distribution technology we have today, they definitely would have. Helldivers 2 connected with its audience in such a subversive and effective manner that audience, having access to the aforementioned technology, well, they just went mad with propaganda. And who could blame them? Finally, a space for us to celebrate our worst instincts without hurting anyone. Remember the Creek. Another favourite of mine, but not necessarily for the design, but because it glorifies so well a battle I took part in. Let me tell you, this glorious image is not a true representation of what actually went down on Malevelon Creek. It was more like this. And this. The government proxy in this analogy is the developer Arrowhead. Those guys are obviously having a load of fun, popping out propaganda videos that get broadcast to each and every Super Earth super destroyer, and fleshing out the world they have received neatly from Paul Verhoeven's classic movie. I particularly like this one, where the Terminator gets speared by inflation. But by far the slickest and most well-realised piece of Arrowhead propaganda is the Helldivers 2 opening cinematic, which I've watched more than any other cinematic for any video game, ever. It just gets those juices flowing. But what flavour are these juices? No, not eagle sweat, tribalism. The juice is tribalism. In the distant past there were other human species. Not anymore though. And although it would be nice to say that we live side by side with them in harmony, until some specific environmental factors wiped them out but not us, we probably massacred them for touching our stuff or worshipping the wrong rock. But no one knows for sure. But what we can say for sure is that we like to gather under symbols and wear the same colours and beat the snot out of those that don't. So, safe talking point number 2 is football hooliganism. We British have a long, world-famous history of getting upset at the result of certain games. Not cricket. Nobody even understands cricket. Take, for instance, the second most dangerous football-related riot in Britain, the Kenilworth Road riot. Final score, fans 30, police 50. Injured, that is. I guess you put that many emotionally charged men from different locations in a tight spot, some serious othering is going to happen. Add alcohol and easily identifiable opponents, and you get levels of primal behaviour that just scream ape defending his patch of woodland. Such is the legend of the British football hooligan. I'm British, yet I am no hooligan. The crossover in the Venn diagram between gamers and football fans is cursed ground that I haven't been near since kickoff. Yet I am not immune to tribalism. There was a little war I took part in the 90s, black versus grey, but other than that storied conflict, which we won by the way, the tribalism juice never touched my lips again. Until now, of course. But I'm unusual. Tribalism is still a common pastime for many, most notably in sports, politics, and racism. It seems to be a natural evolution-born trait that at some point was quite useful. The based concept of identity fusion is one where your own personal identity mixes with that of your social group. Surely a great trait to have when throwing yourself into combat with a T-Rex, in the hope that little cave boy Timmy will get some T-Rex barbecue brisket. But less helpful when applying a vicious shoeing to a bloke outside a kebab shop, because his shirt is the wrong colour and his team got more balls in the net than yours did 10 beers ago. But in the past, that identity fusion came with the certainty that you were doing the right thing. And certainty is the ultimate comfort. One we tend to have to do without these days. That is, unless you make the most important decision of your life.
Prove to yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free. Join the Helldivers.
Today on the front line, find out how innovative Helldivers are reducing ammo usage while still maintaining top-level lethality. Also, coming up we have rare access to the bridge of a super destroyer as the democracy officer announces plans for a new operation.
Instead of destroying it, we will use it to liberate the galaxy and acquire the space our citizens need to live free. Operation Free Space.
In historical news, ancient video files have been unearthed showing man's natural dominance over automaton. Studies in the field suggest throwing your thermite sooner rather than later is the safest bet.
Why do you need to do that?
Federal studies are being conducted in your community. Would you like to know more?
On Super Earth there is only one tribe. Humans. All humans. This is the ultimate tribe. Your identity is fused with all members of your race because that race is always under threat from the others. Disgusting others. Unknowable others. Relentless others. Stand back to back with your fellow man with utter and complete certainty that they can never be worse than what's out there. As far as tribes you can hate on, guilt-free, Arrowhead has got the best ones. First up, bugs. I've tried really hard with bugs. In reality, that is. We all have a natural aversion to them. It's evolutionary. Some of them can be very unpleasant, even deadly, so it makes sense to GTFO when this guy pops out of your shoe. But I live in England, where this is our biggest spider, and I've tried with them, learning to pick them up, observing them. But if one takes me by surprise, and that primal monkey chill runs up my spine, and if I had one of these to hand, we all know what would happen. Tribe the second, bots. If our own fears made media have taught us anything, it's that when AI achieves sentience, its main agenda will be to hunt us down and wear our skin, probably out of some perverse jealousy. There's no qualms about ripping apart a bot in the most ungodly manner ever and then watching its legs stumble onwards in a grotesque simulation of life. George Lucas knew this when he put together the prequels, and it was taken to its glorious extreme in the Clone Wars animated show. No, not that one, the good one. At last, a way to deliver carnage to the children without offending the censors. And last but not least, the newest faction in Helldivers, and my personally most hated avatar of human fear, the Illuminate. These are the creepy inhuman aliens. They are the Greys, the Arrowhead from Star Control 2, or if you want to get all folklore, elves. Whatever you call them, they're wrong, and they take our children in the night and do weird stuff to our bodies without our permission. Either science or stealing souls. I've seen Fire in the Sky, and I've spent hours blowing up Arrowhead in Star Control 2, so I know what I'm talking about.
We're so cool. We must be the good guys.
Helldivers has a rep in the gaming space. An odd rep. A rep of bringing gamers together. There is no PvP, nor should there be. There is a general air of civility among the community, which is far beyond what you expect in an online gaming space. This camaraderie is quite unexpected for such a testosterone-fueled title. The fact that we all just want to be the best Helldivers we can, help others succeed, and improve, echoes the best characteristics of humans. I generally hate online gaming for its competitiveness and focus on elite skills, which I don't have. But Helldivers allows me to be helpful, at least most of the time. Destruction serious. There it is, the most destruction ever inflicted upon humans and their homes by a single device. It's an act of utter horror and inhuman violence, the full stop to a sentence of even more horror and inhuman violence that had been going on for the past 4 years. The bomb, called Little Boy, come on, Little Boy? Why call it that? I say it was an attempt by the creators to disown themselves from the 200,000 plus deaths it would cause. At least own the sickening destruction you're going to cause. Call the bomb Satan's breath or something. A based Australian journalist, name of Wilfred Burchett, travelled to Hiroshima just after the bomb dropped. He had to dodge his US Army handlers and travel there using stealth. He discovered the civilians were suffering with atomic plague, what we now call radiation poisoning.
My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
Of course, the US government tried to obfuscate and disprove his findings. Dropping Little Boy had already taken up all their powers of propaganda, and defending the American way against the new cultural export, atomic plague, was something they didn't want to do. The US government were obviously determined to separate themselves from the horrific destruction they had caused, because destruction is bad. So then why is it so freakishly awe-inspiring? There is a cultural touchstone among Helldivers, a piece of hardware that fills us with anticipation spiced with just a little fear, a strategy so blunt, so efficient and so glorious that you can't help but look when it's deployed. It's the 500 kilogram bomb. Yes, the portable Hell bomb is louder and bigger, but the delivery method is often messy. Every thrown stratagem leaves a column of pure red light to herald its arrival, and if one appears nearby, your first thought is that a 500? Because if it is, you're dead. The 500 is a true god. It both gives life and takes it away. And the 500 is just the king of a huge arsenal of weapons that represent man's greatest sin against man. Things that to use in the real world would be a war crime, but in Helldivers, the moral issues of such technology have been rendered mute. But the glory of such has never been so well realised, and certainly never under such perfect control. Yeah, the nuke you set off in Fallout was awesome, but it's predetermined. I can drop a 500 anywhere. But it's not just the tools that have been rendered with such love. The repercussions of those tools has also been meticulously crafted. Bugs pop and roast under the flare from a flamethrower. Bots break and spark under the rattle from 3 different types of machine gun. 3. Napalm swallows the horizon. Nukes rupture the atmosphere with explosions that make you feel like a scurrying ant in a world of angry gods. It is glorious. And I thank this game for presenting it in such an unabashed manner. And now, dear viewer, a test. If this video has been effective, you will give the right answer to this question. Now, look at this image. How does this make you feel?
10, 9, 8.
Democratic? Correct answer. Partial credit. Well done, soldier. I would also have accepted obedience and love. We of Super Earth are motivated by love for each other. That is why we fight. Our enemies are only motivated by hate for us. The moral certainty is obvious. And for those so-called overthinkers out there, why would you want to be uncertain? Why kick away the pillars of conviction to replace them with doubt? Seems cowardly, disruptive, and possibly treasonous. You know what? I think fantastical simulation of such moral certainty coupled with glorious visual and audio feedback allows for a cathartic release of frankly unhelpful human hang-ups that have been plaguing us for quite some time. And the framing of Helldivers, it allows them to be taken with a pinch of salt. Helldivers as a piece of art says far more about the human condition than will probably ever be officially realised. It explores the dichotomy of our yearning for prosperity and order, and also our celebration of chaos and destruction in search of that order. Helldivers frames war in contrast, the hopelessness and misery of the individual recruit, and the epic action of a perfect moment in combat. So, just imagine a virtual future experience, Helldivers 37 say, jammed right into your brain. A perfect VR simulation where we can vent our collective spleen on non-human enemies, bathe in their blood, and hear the lamentations of their bug women. Then emerge shorn of our darkness, having undergone a violent catharsis so profound, an event that strengthens our connections and respect for each other, So we can, like, you know, hug and move forward together as a kind of...
You've done your duty. You may extract with honor.
Orbital inbound.
Squad lost. Deploying replacement squad.